Welcome to OmniDog's Vault. This is the OmniDog and OmniCat show. Was that a Pollo?
Yeah, it's a Pollo.
How about me figuring that out?
Yeah.
Nice.
I told
Yeah,
Jess I was going to start to put other animals in front of this and see what happens. I don't know. It was just
very
nearby.
nice. I'm actually impressed that you had it and impressed that I could guess what it was. So I'm
Yeah.
impressed with myself and with you. This is
Yeah,
a good way to
nice.
start the new year.
I agree.
We're impressed with each other. All
It's so
right.
it's so weird. It's here. We did it. We
Uh,
made it.
we have a few more days, in my opinion, before 2020 is behind us.
Well, yeah, a few more. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but yes, we managed to survive, and we're celebrating by talking about feel-good books. Originally, we were going to talk about 5 from 2020 and 5 from whenever. But I started looking, and I found like 3 from this year and just 7 overall. So we're just I am gonna go. I don't know. Are you gonna do the same thing? I'm just gonna say 10, my 10 feel good books.
That's what
And
I'm doing.
why? Yeah, some of them are from this year, but most of them. Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 4 are from this year, so that's good. I almost made it.
I think that's about how mine ended up. And I was like, well, I have this one, and now we're moving it. So yeah, so I think there were about 4
Okay,
from
good,
last year. Yeah.
good. And hello to the chat. Some people were with me. I think Jesse Say What was there with me and Taylor and Tyler this afternoon when we had Toys in Tyler's Attic, where we went through a sealed box of his and found all kinds of incredibly valuable action figures that he had totally forgotten about and packed away during his move. They moved into this house a couple years ago, and so, or maybe 5 years ago, and now he's just opening it up, and he's like, "Whoa, I didn't even know this existed!" And people in the chat are like, "Yeah, that goes for $70 now." He's like, "Whoa!" So
That's awesome.
that was the show this afternoon.
I'll have to check that out. I was sleeping.
It was long because it originally started out. Taylor and Tyler and I have a chat every week where we just get together and talk. And Tyler, this is my problem with having the two on a show, Taylor and Tyler. Tyler said, I have to make some decisions on these Marvel Legends figures. Toss them or keep them. And I said, okay, let's talk about that on the chat. And then he goes, oh, that would make a good Saturday toys. Wait, what is the show called? Action Figure Saturday. I'm all mixed up now. And so we did it, and Taylor was along for the ride because we're slowly drawing him into the action figure universe.
Corrupting him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see.
It's gotten a little easier because there's Batman figures from McFarlane now. That's all he's put out so far, which is what everybody's complaining about. But that's his favorite character. So we're getting him slowly but surely. And he thinks he's putting up resistance, but he's not. The ground is crumbling beneath his feet. It's awesome. It is awesome. I have also gone through all my pops, so I'm going to sell a bunch of pops. Do you want me to run any by you to see if you want any?
Yeah, you may have something. I told you about this, but probably like 2 years ago now, I did a great pop purge.
Oh,
I'd been collecting for many years. I had a lot of those like really limited ones. I still have some of them. Yeah.
That's right.
But it was wonderful because the people would pay a crazy amount of money for like a black and white original Captain America limited at like 300 or something. It's like, why?
Yeah.
But great, take it. I paid like $15 for it.
My problem is I have a ton of pops, but I lost almost all the boxes in the flood of 2017. And they're not worth a nickel without those boxes.
Hey, that's rough.
So I had to find. I'm only going to be able to sell what I can find boxes for, but I may even sell some of my prized ones because I'm starting to not really dig pops that much anymore.
They take up a lot of room, that's for sure.
Yeah, especially in the box.
I like to pretend they don't exist for a while because I'll be too tempted by them, you know?
Oh, okay. So you still have a bit of a thing for them?
I mean, well, you know, it's like the child, right? Like I have too many pops of the child at this point. Or if it's like, you know, there's some things like I had to get the Rogue when it came out because I was waiting forever for a Rogue to come out.
A
So I
Rogue
have
pop?
there's a Rogue pop, yeah. So I have
Okay.
the Rogue pop, and every Buffy that ever comes out, I have to get. Which they haven't done a series of Buffy in a bit, so I'm okay. But yeah, so there's select ones I've like saved or I've picked up. I got a problem because I really like the big ones, and there's no room for those.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. I lost the box for my big giant gray Hulk and tiny Bruce Banner.
Oh yeah, those are cool. I have those.
Yeah,
Somewhere.
so that's probably good. I'm gonna keep him, but um, I I've just got too much stuff.
I get it.
Yeah.
I got this little cute Jughead.
Oh no, that's cool. I want it. Oh, I mean, no, I don't want it.
See, there's some that are like tempting, right? So
And he's got a burger there.
yeah, and he's got a little stand and a milkshake. Come
Oh,
on.
no, that's pretty cool.
So there's some that come out like this where I'm like, oh, I have to get it. And he's by the
Yeah.
Archie. Grab him. So like these are by my little Archie books.
Uh-huh.
Come on,
I
how
like
cute is
freckles, yeah.
he? So there's some that come out like that really get me, and I'm like, I have to put them with my comics for those things, you know.
Yeah. I originally bought, this is back when Mandalorian first came out. I bought 2 of the pops and 2 of the plastic sort of plushes because I thought my daughter was going to watch The Mandalorian and I would give them to her as Christmas gifts this year or birthday gift this year, 2020, because it came out in 2019. And she was so broken up by episode 9 that she wouldn't watch Mandalorian. So after the finale of this year, I said, sit down and binge Mandalorian during your Christmas break. You will not be disappointed. And she's watched it like 4 times now. And I finally could give her her plush and her pop.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way if you actually sit down and watch it, you can resist it. There's no way.
I love having the plush in the car seat like he has in his ship. So I put him and or her in the car seat. I put the child in the seat next to me while we're driving.
Love it.
Yeah. And now my wife wants to see it. So that's a win.
Good.
Yeah. She likes Star Wars. She hasn't seen them, you know, all the times that I have, but she likes it enough to want to see Mandalorian.
There's definitely like a very broad appeal to that show.
Mandalorian?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think anyone, even if you're not, well, tons of people who weren't into Star Wars got into it and then got into Star Wars, which I didn't think those people even existed, but I know some of them. It's like, wow, okay, that's cool.
Well, Gabe is one of them from Omni Bros. He disliked Star Wars, like, blah, I can't stand Star Wars. And he watched Mandalorian, and now he wants the hot toy of Mandalorian. So, and he's like, oh, I got to see all the movies again and buy the comic books, and I want a Mandalorian action figure. So you're right. It gets him into Star Wars.
Yeah, Maddie did something similar. Like she watched The Mandalorian, and she hadn't seen all the original movies even.
Who's this?
Maddie.
Oh,
and
Maddie.
She finally watched Return of the Jedi like recently, and I was like, yes, finally.
But did she see the New Hope and Empire Strikes Back?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
But
she just waited a long time until Return of the Jedi, I guess. And that's my favorite. So she's like, I get it. I'm like, cool.
Oh, okay.
I'm like the only one I know. Everyone's like Empire, and I'm like, yeah, I like it, but it's not Return of the Jedi.
Well, that's, hey, no judgment here, man. I love the first 3 like my own children. So Empire's like not just a favorite Star Wars movie. It's up in my top 5 of movies of all time.
That's fair.
Yeah. Because it's interesting because I had to wait 3 years between each movie, which is a long time. If you think about it, millennials, of course, now get a Star Wars movie every year, which is ridiculous.
Crazy.
I love it. But at the end of Empire Strikes Back, I'm like, what? First of all, it was a huge reveal. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? I have to wait 3 more years to find out how this thing fixes up and ends. And that was till Return of the Jedi came out. So, yeah, those were a long 3 years.
I bet. I can't imagine.
Between Empire and Jedi. Yikes. Yeah. And now Disney Plus and is gonna have all kinds of Star Wars stuff, which is great. I'm gonna watch all of that.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'll even watch cartoons.
Yeah, I never watched Clone Wars or Rebels, and I want to do that now. But there's so much of it. I'm like, oh, this could take forever, but I'm in.
Yeah, it gets explained to me because my big beef, and I know we're gonna get to the topic in a section, 10 feel-good books. We're gonna get to the topic in a second, but I thought whatever the prequel was, the third one, I don't even know the name of it. It's
Revenge of the Sith? That one?
Oh, is that what it's called? Okay.
Yeah.
I saw it once. I hated it so much. I hated all 3 of those movies. But they never really do a good job of telling me or us how Anakin goes to become Darth Vader. I mean,
well, he hates sand. So he got really angry because he hates sand so much. And he comes from a sand land. So that's what happened.
So there's no explanation, really. I mean, you don't see him. A whole movie could have been made about show me him getting evil, becoming evil, and give me a reason he became evil. How did he become Darth Vader?
Well, he was mad because his mom got killed.
I mean, to be Darth Vader, though, I mean, he's like the most evil guy ever, and so this guy's just I
mean, Attack of the Clones. He was getting rough the whole time.
That's what I heard. That's where I was headed with that because I heard. Well, oh no, the Clone Wars cartoon apparently explains how he got more to the dark side. And I never saw that. And so that's why I'm thinking about watching it because I need an explanation of how he went from, angry Anakin to, Lord Vader. That's a pretty big different change.
Yeah.
Anyway. But so I'm thinking about watching Clone Wars or whatever it is. What is it? The Clone Wars.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Along with the other 8 billion TV shows I have to watch.
Don't we all?
Yeah. It was a big accomplishment for me to finish Mandalorian right on schedule.
Yeah, I was behind half the time, so I failed at that. But at least I'm caught up now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thanks, Farhan. My hand cast is off. I got it off Tuesday.
Does it feel good?
It feels good to be able to wash both my hands again. Yeah. The ligaments are a little sore from disuse, but the bone doesn't really hurt that was broken.
Well, good.
Yeah, so I use a stress ball a lot and to work it up a lot. So here's a good one. Clone Wars was awesome. You'll find out why Ahsoka was such a big deal.
Yeah, that's what I want to know too, because I don't know any of that.
Yeah, she was a big deal to me in Mandalorian. Just seeing her with 2 lightsabers, I was like, "Ooh, this is cool."
Yeah, she was cool.
So what would you like to start with first, then? This year, or are we just going to randomly?
Let's randomly.
All right.
Because I don't have these in order.
Okay, I don't either.
Okay, good. Well, I can start if you want.
Sure.
You want to go back and forth?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a book we reviewed on the channel.
Oh.
So sorry if y'all have seen it already, but I'm going to talk about some stuff I've already talked about because I found it very feel good, and that's Snapdragon.
Oh
which
yeah,
is also
I love that book.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite reads of the year. So this did come out last year. And we did a whole episode where we talked about it. So you can check that out. But Snapdragon was just such a feel-good book to me. The main character, whose name is Snapdragon, she is quite angsty. She's a kid, you know, she's got stuff going on. But there's all kinds of delightful things in this, like witches and, you know, kind of ghost spirits and just fun things. There's a dog with 3 legs. Come on. Like, you know, you gotta love that. There's just a lot happening in this book. I haven't read anything like it before or since, and I just loved everything about it. So to me, it's a feel-good book because it made me feel good.
Yeah.
I read it and I loved it, and I wanted to read it again, and I probably will read it again this year. I loved all the character development, especially with Snapdragon herself. I think she went through a lot and she learned a lot, and there's a lot to be said. I think it's a great all ages book that anybody can gain a lot from. And it's the kind of stories that I feel like we need right now, right? You know, I read it and I was like, there's a lot of representation in here. There's a lot of different characters I haven't seen before in comics. There's just a really unique storyline throughout with like these witchy elements, these magical elements.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, there was the
old lady.
Yeah, really like creepy kind of thing with the old lady. She like puts back together bones and stuff, and there's a deeper reason why, but here's kind of the spiritual. I don't want to like ruin anything, but there's just a lot of unique things happening in this book, and the characters made me just totally happy, and I loved it. I thought it was a really great story, really well done all throughout it, and if you guys missed out on this one in 2020, you should pick it up in 2021. It'll make you feel good.
I need to find my copy because I want to read it again. So there are a couple places it could be. I have independent books set aside on different shelves, but I definitely want to. That book, I sort of remember feeling like I did when I read Sheets, that it sort of made me feel good like that.
Which would be another feel good. Although, you know, Sheets is kind of sadder, right? So it's consistently kind of, but it is hopeful, and that's a good pick too. I love that book.
Yeah. And now, is Sheets getting a sequel?
Yeah, Delicates comes out in March, I think.
Good. I definitely want that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. That'll be a good one.
Yeah. Look, that's funny. Looking at all my books, mine are all big 2 books.
And I don't think I have even one. So there we go.
We're perfect that way. Perfect. My first one, just got done reading. This is a 2020 book. It's a superhero book, but it's the perfect. I have a lot of these thin Marvel trades that I like because, first of all, they're thin, like 1 through 5. It's always issues 1 through 5. And you can get enough character development in there for you to not only like the protagonist, but some of the people around her and get a feel for the story and for why you like the character. And this would be Spider-Woman, who got a new costume. This was the first part of it, was all about, you know, her getting a new costume and stuff. And this was just one of those lighthearted kind of superhero romps where there's definitely, you know, she risks her life to solve the issue. But it's all done with, it's not humor like a Deadpool book, breaking the fourth wall, but it's lighthearted and interesting and fun, and it's got lots of guest appearances in it. And it's about, she's taking on a security job, and she she has an encounter with like the rhino and stuff, and she throws up on him, and it's like it burns him, and because she's sick from something, and her when she gets sick, it burns him, and because she's got something going on with her, and the art is great, and she runs into old foes and old friends and people that she thinks she can trust. Of course, she can't, and it was just, I just loved all of this. I love this kind of paneling that's different and interesting. And there's lots of action, but there's lots of heart too. Dealing with Hydra, and here's her main foe that she runs into on Mount Wundagore. So the art was great, the story was great. I just loved it all the way around. It was just fun. I was so into it. I can't wait for the rest of the issues. I may just read it on Marvel Unlimited. But I love these thin, there's going to be a bunch of these thin Marvel trades because they're so fun to read and so easy to read. So that's my first. This was a 2020 book. Jessica Drew, Spider-Woman, getting a new costume. That's the new costume. And kicking ass, which is all I ask for, really, when it comes to a female superhero. I just a cool costume, and she kicks ass and is a strong female protagonist. I'm a big fan of strong female protagonists. As a matter of fact, almost all my books are about women. I just discovered that.
Good.
There's one that's about a guy. Oh no, two that's about a guy.
We'll throw those away.
You're going to want to read them because they're great.
Yeah. You're probably right. Here's one that if you haven't read yet, everyone on Earth needs to read. There aren't many books I'd probably say that about, right? But I really do believe that for Bone, of course.
Oh, of course. Great pick.
Of course. Great all ages book. If you don't know about it by now, then what rock have you been living under? Please get out of it and go read the book. But Bone is wonderful. It's about the adventures of this little guy right here. He's going on a grand journey. The cast of characters, again, just consistently like a fun time. Everyone is delightful. Even Mr. Grumpy here, right? Like everyone, you still care about everyone. It's a blast throughout. The whole thing is just the most fun journey you'll go on. The art's beautiful. Jeff Smith is amazing. So it's again one of those, if you haven't read it yet, pick it up. You're gonna have a good time. And it is such a consistently feel good book. Even when the drama's happening, even when you're not sure who's gonna die or not, like it's consistently just the best time.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you.
I mean, look at all this. Don't you want to know what's happening?
The great cow race.
Come on. You gotta love it. So check out Bone if you haven't checked out Bone.
My next one is from 2020, and it is not from the big two. It is from Archie Comics. And it sounds, the name of the book sounds hokey, and I almost didn't buy it because of that. But then I thought, I like Jughead the Hunger and Afterlife with Archie, so I should give this a shot. And it was awesome. Vampironica. First of all, the art is great, and yes, she does turn into a vampire in this, and she's there are other vampires in it too. This is not Watchmen or anything. This is a vampire book, but Veronica is a super kick-ass vampire who wants to stop the spread of vampires in Riverdale. And she is super kick-ass, and she's got lots of friends to help her who haven't been turned over to the dark side. I won't say who does, but it's perfect that he gets turned into a vampire in the situation he does. It's one of the sort of second tier characters, but you'll know him. And she's just, I just love Veronica in this book, and Betty's great, and everybody else is secondary, except for this guy. He's like Veronica's cohort in it, Vampironica. And how can you not like a book, Vampironica? That to me, that's just like, I have to try it. And this was so fun and so great. And she takes on the bad guys with the help. Here's Jughead eating food the whole way through the battle. And it's just super fun. He defends himself, but with garlic bread against the vampires. And I just enjoyed the heck out of this book.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I can't wait.
That sold me, that line.
It's very tongue-in-cheek and very fun. I'm hoping that it says at the end sort of one of those, the end with a question mark. So I'm hoping that there's going to be another volume, because there is Jughead the Hunger versus Vampironica, which I got. So I'm going to read that next, but I really want to read volume 2 of this. What? Oh, this is oh, I see. It came with a it came with a beginning of another book. What book is this? Oh, Jughead the Hunger. Okay. So yeah, Vampironica, super fun, and you should give it a try.
I'm gonna give it a try. I wrote it down.
Oh, good.
I wondered about it when it came out, because I also read Archie Afterlife and I liked that. I don't know if I read Jughead or not. I'm gonna have to check that out. But yeah, those are fun. Very fun. Speaking of fun, this is a consistently fun book. They always kickstart these before they get published. So I've done that like every year or so. They've put them out. And that's Our Super Adventure, which I believe I've talked about briefly on this show.
Oh, yeah. You love it.
Sarah Grayley and her partner's stuff. It is nonfiction, like 4-panel comics about their daily life. And it's very over the top and funny, but real adventures that they have. Even if they're just like, I mean, they're always so silly and fun though. So it always like makes me feel happy and good. And if you want to check these out and you don't want to dive into these little hardcovers, which are very cute and beautiful, you can check out, I think it's at Our Super Adventure on Instagram, or go to Sarah Grayley's, which is her name, Sarah Grayley. But they're very fun. Just consistently, like, it's my kind of humor, and it makes me laugh every time. And they're just delightful. So that's very fun. And these books, like, they have cool, like, older comics that they redraw because she got better, and there's a lot of like extras at the end. So like that's what it used to look like, and then she redid it, which she got way better than when it started. So these are really cool, like, little hardcovers. Here's another little slipcase they came out with, which is their travel adventures. Look at how cute. So this was them. Let's see. I think there's a American one because they're from the UK, and a Canadian one, and they talk about like going to cons there, and their little adventures with like those cultures, which is really fun to see too from like a different perspective, because obviously I only know the American perspective. So it was cool to like look at the Canada through their eyes and like American through their eyes too. So these were really cool. So yeah, they've done a lot of unique stuff. Usually they kickstart something like once a year, and they always have like so many good extras and pins and stuff. So if you're into that kind of thing, I am. But yeah, these are awesome hardcovers, and they're delightful. So if you like nonfiction comics and funny things, give it a shot.
And pins.
Yeah.
I got. Did you give your dad the Fathom stuff that I sent you?
I saw him briefly to exchange presents early this month. I haven't seen him since, and I completely forgot about it. So
okay.
I have that on a stack of like, I got one of his presents a month later because it was stuck in the mail.
Yeah.
Which, hey, I'll say it's an IST box, huge gaping hole in the side of it. Like it got stuck. It hadn't, USPS right now, right?
Yeah.
It hadn't been scanned in forever. I thought it wasn't even moving. Like I didn't know what was happening. Finally shows up. There's a huge hole, and it looks like someone tried to tape it over. I don't know if the post office did or what. But thankfully, you and I know IST packaging, it's no joke. This video is not even sponsored, but I'm just saying, I was grateful that it took forever and it still all came in one piece. So I have that box for him and your stuff.
Awesome.
Waiting for when I briefly see him at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, we had to have a virtual Christmas with my daughter too. That we made the most of it. It was still fun. It was more fun than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I felt the same. Like we did that with Reed's family. Like they all got together and we were like, we're not doing that. So we did it on the iPad. Yeah, now they all have COVID. So
no kidding.
They're okay. But literally everyone except his grandma was there, and thankfully she doesn't have it. So hopefully that continues.
Wow.
But they all have like mild symptoms, so they're okay, thankfully. But we were very happy we didn't go.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm glad we didn't do
that. Yeah, I'm starting to wear plastic gloves out when I go out, and I go out hardly at all.
Yeah.
So.
Well, now we got that variant, right? I don't mean to bring it down, but oof.
Yeah. Usually I like variants. Variant covers,
right?
Variant.
We all have TM covers. Yeah.
TM covers. Yeah. Yeah. No variant. No, I'm not into it at all. This I just got done reading. So I think it counts as a 2020 book. I'd love it to be my first book of 2021 on my
Goodreads challenge.
Goodreads challenge, which is 350 books.
Yes.
And I should read something thin just to get it off of that big zero that's there. But to be fair, I finished this before. What is this? The second? Yeah, I finished this like Thursday or Wednesday. And this is Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen. Surprisingly, not only did I love it, but so did Taylor Brown. And so you don't have to know anything about the Silver Age, because it's very Silver Agey looking. It's got all these, I mean, when I used to love Jimmy Olsen as a kid, and he would always change into these weird creatures. He'd be Elastalad and Turtle Man and Giant Reptile Man, and he would be all these weird characters. And in this book, Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, who killed Jimmy Olsen, the thing that runs through the whole thing is somebody's trying to kill Jimmy Olsen, and he doesn't want Superman to help him. He wants to try and solve it himself. And this is, Matt Fraction is up and down for a lot of people. He is, whoa, super chat. Thank you, Jimmy Owens. That's very nice of you. That's the second one ever. Here's hoping 2021 is better than 2020 for all of us. Lots of love. Jess, thanks for everything. Jimmy, thank you very much for the super chat. That makes me feel like a big channel. Thank you. And you'll be getting your check for $250 in the mail, Kristan. Although I think YouTube takes a chunk out of it. I don't know what it is after a while. And here's a compliment. You're the man, OmniDog, and I, OmniCat, you're awesome. Nice. Thanks, Bob the Rob.
Bob the Rob.
And great pick, Jess. That Jimmy Olsen book was amazing.
I like how it's a chonker.
Yeah, it's very thick. MM40, you're very nice. My daughter's actually not sick.
Yeah, you may have heard me say Reed's family.
Oh, yeah. My daughter's fine. We didn't get together for Christmas, though, because we didn't want to
do something bad. Yeah.
We didn't want to take a chance on COVID. So, and here's Taylor Brown. Best Big Two book of the past year. Nice. I told you he liked it, and he's a millennial, so you don't have to know about the Silver Age, although there are a ton of Silver Age Easter eggs in this. This is one of the best books Matt Fraction's ever written, I think. So the art is really great by Steve Lieber. It's got the Taylor pointed out to me that it's got the cat, Atrocitus's cat from Red Lanterns, which I didn't pick up on because I had only seen the cat in a Red Lantern outfit. I had forgotten it was blue, but he plays a big part in it.
You had me a cat.
Yeah, barfing up this burning substance that he uses as a weapon just about. But in Metamorphose, his friend, and he in this book, he comes from a long line of wealthy people that have a rivalry with Lex Luthor's clan in Metropolis. Dating back to like the 1600s, so it's old money, but Jimmy makes it on his own as a news photographer. But when it turns out somebody puts a hit on him, he has to move to Gotham City, and he ends up having a rivalry with Batman, a prank war with Batman. He's got Batman being funny in this, which generally is not a good thing, but it actually is really well done and funny. How Batman starts pulling pranks on Jimmy when he pulls pranks on Batman. He has to move to Gotham City in this skanky flat, trying to find out who took a shot at this mannequin of him. Like, I'm not, someone's trying to kill him, so I'm not spoiling anything by showing the scene of where his lifelike mannequin gets shot and they end up burying it.
Taylor wants you to leave something for your review with him.
Okay, you're right, Taylor. And it's told in little tiny bits. There's like 4 or 5 stories per issue. Jimmy Olsen's landlord, Ed Lynch. And then you do a couple pages, and it's Dave Diamond, the dirty detective from that last scene in End of Watch. And go a couple pages. And let me find here's Superman, third wheel. Here's Bruce Wayne with a gal. It is hilarious. It is absolutely 100% hilarious. Really well written, very well illustrated. As I say, you don't have to be a Silver Age fan to enjoy this. You really, really need to read this book because it is funny as heck, and it does a great job incorporating tons of all these interesting, crazy characters into it. And I don't know what Matt Fraction's deal is. Sometimes he can write really well, and then other times he can't. I don't know what the explanation is. But he wrote Hawkeye really, really well, and then he writes some other stuff not so well. But this is brilliant, and it's going to be included in my top books of 2020. This book rocked. I didn't get a chance to read Lois Lane. Maybe that's what I'll read as my first pick, my first read in my readathon for Goodreads.
So you know what I want to ask you, right? Do I have to care about Superman to care about that story?
He's hardly in it.
Okay, because I saw him a little bit throughout it. I know his name's on the cover, but you have me interested. So I'm like, is this for me?
Well,
do you think?
That's a good point. It is Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, but he specifically asks Superman not to help him. He wants to solve this himself.
Okay.
And so I think you will enjoy it. There is that bit with Batman, and it's really good. There's Metamorpho in it.
I mean, you had me at the cat, so.
Yeah, the cat is great in it. But yeah, here's Superman rarely appears, and when he does, he's not in character at all. He's like kind of a goofball, like Batman is. I mean, everybody's a goofball in this book. They're not in character.
I like that. I'm writing it down.
Yeah, I think you get a big kick out of this book because Taylor said he laughed out loud several times. Jimmy, she's OmniCat is just not a big Superman fan. We all have our things, and she just doesn't dig Superman that much.
I love Superman Smashes the Klan, so there is one Superman book I loved.
That is a great book.
So yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna read that. I know it's on Hoopla. I've seen it.
Yeah, you will totally dig this.
Awesome.
I feel good about recommending it.
Well, something I feel good about recommending forever, constantly, because I know we've both talked about it on this channel, but you know I have to talk about Lumberjanes.
What a great
when it's feel-good books.
What a great choice.
There's nothing more feel-good to me, I think, than these Lumberjanes characters, which are consistently, they go on the most fun adventures. Like I said, you know, you guys have maybe seen Jess and I already talk about this, but oh my gosh, it ended this year, or last year, technically last year, and I'm very sad about that, but now's the time to jump on it. These hardcovers are standard size, but they're so lovely. They also open really nicely. Like, they're not like tightly bound or anything. They're very nice. Very nice hardcovers. Lumberjanes, these girls go on adventures and in the woods where they're like, you know, camping in a camp. It's just, there's time travel, there's crazy creatures. It's nonstop fun. And it's delightful in every way. It makes me so happy. This really is my go-to if I read something really dark or like sad or anything and I need a break from that. I'm like, here's the feel-good book. I know I can pick up Lumberjanes and have a great time no matter what. So this is the one. And HBO is going to have an animated series this year.
Nice.
So if you want to get ready for it, read the comics because they're so good.
Well, I 100% agree with OmniCat. I did a whole video on the 1 through 6 of the, what are they called? The special editions, or what are they called?
To the Max edition.
To the Max editions. I did, I did a review of 1 through 6, and they are feel good. They are funny and quirky, and time works differently at this summer camp, and they are constantly one step ahead of their counselor, and they're smart and funny and very creative and precocious. It really is a great book. Games Profile asks, do you have a YouTube channel?
So I do. It's called The Comic Slayer. I think Jess may put it in the description, or could. You can also go to @The Comic Slayer on Instagram, and the link in my bio is to the channel. I do it with my husband Reed, and we are actually filming something right after this. Well, probably after we eat later on tonight. And it's been on a little hiatus. I've had a crazy work schedule, so I have not been able to function. As you heard earlier during his show, with Tyler and Taylor, I was sleeping because I got off work this morning at 7 a.m. So it's been a lot. It's been hard for me to function lately, but we're going to get back to it. We got a Christmas haul we're going to film. We got a lot of cheap comics within that. We're going to talk about our reading goals. I'm going to do a whole video, if anyone cares who's watching, on cat comics, because I have so many that I love. And they're delightful. So I'm going to do a whole video on that myself.
Cats of the Louvre, one of them?
Ooh, you know it is. So good.
Yeah, and she also has an Instagram, Comic Slayer.
@The Comic Slayer.
@The Comic Slayer, right.
The Comic Slayer, yeah.
I will make sure I put that in the description after this. I need to start doing that. That's a good point. Yeah. Streakazoid loves your shirt.
Oh, thank you.
So does Farhan. So lots of people dig your shirt.
Thanks.
Let's see. What can I do next? Something else that came out this year. I'll do the other thing that came out this year. And this is at the bottom of the pile. So just a sec. Yank. This book is The Amazing Mary Jane. And I just read the description. It's by Leah Williams. I like her writing, and she's perfect for this. It's Mary Jane in Hollywood, trying to film stuff. And, of course, trouble finds her on the Hollywood set. It's, first of all, the art is gorgeous. And Leah Williams really writes Mary Jane well. It's just Mary Jane. There's no Spidey in this. It's about her adventures in Hollywood as she's filming. MJ finally gets her big shot at a Hollywood starring role, but Mysterio is the auteur director who's cast her, and the film is his twisted take on his own life story. See, the back page does a better job than I do. Even if Mary Jane can be persuaded to stay on board a biopic of Quentin Beck, not everybody will be a fan of the project. The Vulture has a bone to pick with his old partner in crime, and he is not alone. Savagely sinister Spidey foes come in sixes, but with Peter Parker miles away in New York City, it's up to MJ to save the day. So this is how she deals with all this crazy drama that's going on, and she's using pluck, spunkiness, ingenuity, no superpowers, but she outthinks all the bad guys and is a ton of fun. This is exactly my kind of comic book. These little Marvel trades that are a blast to read in 45 minutes, and she is just great in this book, and the supporting cast is great, and I love this Mary Jane book. So this may be, I've read a few Leah Williams books, but I think this might be my favorite one. I need to read more by her, because based on that, I want to read a lot more of her books. She really wrote this well. It's just super fun.
Yeah, I wrote that one down too. I gotta check that out.
I think you'd dig it. It's got everything I want in a comic. Everything, strong female protagonist who is quite capable of handling things on her own. There's action, adventure, humor. It's just fun and perfect for me.
Nice.
Oh, well, Real Big Cohen has a. Maybe I shouldn't show it. Maybe this is one of your books.
Oh, it's not.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Okay. But it's one of my top books of the year. My feel-good book of the year is Dragon Hoops. That is a great book.
Yeah, I loved it too.
Real big. Yeah. Oh, and Farhan says cat comics. That's something I'm going to look forward to for sure. I love cats.
Yes, more of us.
Oh, adding it to the list, Jess. Nice, Thomas. Good. Thank you.
Yes, Strick is always also saying they would love a video on cat comics. Okay, now that y'all are talking about it, I have to do it. So I'm glad to hear that. And because you love cats and comics, I'm going to skip down my list and talk about specifically, I told Jess I'm cheating on 2 of these. So this is what I'm cheating on. My go-to feel-good books are always cat comics because I love them so much. I've read so many and they're all delightful. So we're going to talk about 2 right now. This is Sue and Tai Chan, the artist and writer of Cheese Sweet Home. These came out in 2020, volume 1 and 2. That's all that's out right now. They're in color and they read left to right, Jess.
Oh,
I'm not telling you have to read it. I'm just saying.
I know, but
So,
I don't think we reviewed these, did we?
no, I
Yeah,
haven't talked
this
about
is
these
new
on
to
the channel.
me.
So, Sue and Tai-chan. Sue is this older cat who's right here. Let me get a better view of Sue. Here we go. Here's Sue grooming Tai-chan. And Tai-chan is the new kitten in the house. So Sue is this older cat. She's probably in her teens. She's a senior cat. And her owner introduces this new kitten who is a kitten and just wants to constantly play and have fun. And Sue's like, hey, I just want a nap. Like, leave me alone. So it's truly just their adventures, which are so delightful. I mean, here's Tai-chan falling in the bath and she's like, what are you doing? She has to save him. Like, it's so cute and fun and relatable if you've ever had a cat or known a cat. And it's also just delightful because, you know, the dynamics between the older cat and the pure young kitten is just so good and fun, and the kind of little qualities like the kitten brings out in the older cat, it's just a feel good book. It's pure, it's wholesome, and it makes me so happy. And if you love Chi or you haven't checked out Chi, that's another one, of course, I'll talk about in my later video. But these two were wonderful. This is like one I can't wait to get when it comes out. It's so funny and delightful. And also another one I read this year, this is nonfiction, Frankie Comics. This is about this couple, real life couple, and their cat, Frankie. And it's just their little daily adventures with their cat and their cat shenanigans. And it was so good. Like, I say that in the fact that, so Reed loves making comics and reading them, but he doesn't read them as much as I do. I was like, here, you have to read this right now. He sat down, read it in a sitting, and was like, this is amazing. So it's, again, one of those things. It's very relatable if you have pets of any kind. I mean, see, here's Frankie, like, laying on their owner and just sneezing right in the face, right? So I've experienced that I don't know how many times. So it's just fun little daily adventures that make me so happy. So this was an awesome little book that I picked up too. So I'll definitely be doing a video on cat comics because they make me happy.
That's awesome. Those looked really good. And Ben Uncles, yeah, I'm sorry you missed the tangents. We had the tangent portion at the beginning, but we had so many books to go through that we sort of kept the tangents to a minimum. I apologize. Ben's a big fan of the tangents.
I mean, maybe we should just do a whole tangent show. That's essentially what a Q&A is, right? Just go on about stuff.
That's what they like more than the topic from Taylor and I. They just want to hear, you know, anything but the topic. So,
well, maybe we should next time. We'll just do a Q&A.
Sure. And Mary, Ms. Bookpod, is that her new name?
Mary M's Book Pod. Yeah, she has a book podcast she started, and it's awesome. So check that out.
Okay.
Yeah,
our dog sneezes on us all the time, so I can relate. Okay, so Mary M's Book Pod. So it's her podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Mary M's a friend of the show, so I wholeheartedly endorse whatever she does.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, pet sneezes.
Yeah, our dog. Yeah, we've got a Cocker Spaniel, and there's some force behind that sneeze.
Yeah, too much.
Yeah, she's got a strong tail that thwacks hard, and she can put some air behind those sneezes. My next book won't surprise anybody that knows me or has known me for more than 2 seconds. It's an omnibus, but you don't have to get it in omni format. You can get it in paperbacks and oversized hardcovers. And I won't go into it, although I do see a lot of new names in here. Oh, thank you, Drew. Thank you very much. Good to hear from you. This is the book that turned me on to Harley Quinn, and that is Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti's Harley Quinn, which took her from being the Joker's punching bag and made her a real estate mogul who owns a building in Coney Island that houses like wax museum, house of horrors, and has all kinds of wacky tenants. She has hyenas. She's got a burnt, crispy beaver wood statue that talks to her. All the characters in it are hilarious. All the people that populate her apartment building are great. They go on all kinds of adventures. Cyborg, this is where he came from. If you've seen the TV show Harley Quinn, the great funny Harley Quinn that DC's put out for 2 seasons now, this is where Cyborg comes from. Cyborgman, as voiced by George Costanza from the Seinfeld show. You see a lot of Poison Ivy in it, but you just see a really fun, happy-go-lucky, smart, capable Harley Quinn. She's Harleen Quinzel by day. Then she's at night in the roller derby. And during the parts where she's not doing that, she's building manager, and she gets into all kinds of adventures and craziness. And she eats this terrible diet and still stays thin, like Tyler Blunt. It's crazy.
Unfair.
Yeah, not at all. The artwork is great. The characters are all super fun. I love this book, and not only have I double dipped, but I still have all my Harleys. And I mean, from her very first adventures, I have every issue of everything she's ever been in floppies. And I don't even collect floppies, but that's how much I love Harley, that I collect. But this Connor and Palmiotti run is what made me go back and start collecting everything else, because I just have a blast reading this. And I know some people are hot or cold on her. That's fine. If you're worried that you may or may not like her, try it digitally first. Don't go out and buy the huge omnibus, but try it digitally first. There's 3 omnis, and I'm looking forward to when I can start rereading them. I have a lot on my plate this year, but rereading the first 3 omnis is a really good goal for me. I haven't written it down, but that may be something I strongly think about.
That's a good idea, because I've been wanting to check out that run for ages now. And there's my reason. It's 2021. It's time. And it is all on Hoopla. So if that's an option for anyone out there who doesn't want to just jump into an Omni.
Yeah. Drew Edworth asks, as someone who has never read any Harley Quinn, can I just jump right into this Omni? Yes. As a matter of fact, I had never read any Harley Quinn before New 52, and this is she has 2 Omnis from New 52 and 1 Omni from Rebirth, and this is where I discovered her. So yeah, you can jump right into this book and start enjoying her right away. That's how I found out about her, is her New 52 stuff.
Awesome. Well, I'm also going to talk about something that I talk about a lot, because people are like, "Oh, you're talking about Harley, yeah," and Giant Days. Come on, I have to.
Oh yeah,
one of my all-time favorites, and it also ended in 2020. So now is the time where you can jump in and read all of it. It's about this group of best friends who are in college, and they're just trying to function and live their lives and survive. And they get in these hilarious predicaments and adventures, and go through relationships, and just, it's really everyday life, but told in such an kind of sometimes over the top way that it's just consistently so entertaining. The dialogue, you mentioned earlier your Jimmy Olsen book being laugh out loud funny. Mm. I don't find myself finding that many comics that funny, like laugh out loud funny. Like, right. Maybe I'll be like, oh, it's funny, but I won't I've laughed out loud so many times with some of this dialogue in Giant Days that it is consistently on my all-time favorite books list forever. And it ended, and I love the ending. So I thought it was really well done, and it's a long run. I think there were like 14 of the thin trades, which we talked about before. Unfortunately, they discontinued these hardcovers, so it ends here with 3. But there are like 14 of the trades, and they're really nice quality trades, and it's worth your time. Also, it's on Hoopla, so you have other options if you ever want to read it. But it's funny, consistently great, and it makes me so happy.
I also love Giant Days, and I have just the hard soft covers. And did you say there were 14?
I think there's 14. Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure. I want to make sure that I have 14. Yeah, this is. There was a question asked. Is this the Omni with Harley and Power Girl? Yes, and also it's got Gang of Harleys and the unfortunate Harley's Little Black Book. Which is in here, or is that in the next one? Let's see. That is utterly skippable. Harley's Little Black Book. Her Power Girl stuff is a blast. Harley's Gang of Harleys is fun. I love her stuff with Power Girl. Let's see. I don't think it's okay. This looks like it ends with Power Girl. And so the next issue, the next Omni must have Little Black Book and Harley's Gang of Harleys. Harley's Gang of Harleys is fun. Little Black Book is awful, and it's written by the same authors and artists and everything. I don't know. They lost their way. You can just skip it, but it's in there so you can read it. But it's so weird.
Not worth your time.
I don't know. I read it, and it's so not like. I was shocked that it was Connor and Palmiotti doing it, because it's so different and so out of character for her. Especially I think it's the last issue with Lobo. She guest stars in 5 or 6 issues with different superheroes, and this one with Lobo just was super out of character for what had been written up to that point. 45 issues or whatever had been written up to that point in a certain way, and they had her acting in this Little Black Book completely differently, and not in an attractive way, in my opinion. I'm aware it's just comic books and it's not real life, but you get attached to a certain character and the way they act, and that's what attracts you to the comic book. And it was, I don't know, I just felt almost betrayed by how badly written she was in Little Black Book. It got worse as it kept going.
Weird.
Yeah. Oh, is it my turn?
Yeah.
Okay. This is not from this year, but this is a must buy for everyone, because this made me laugh out loud. I had no idea this artist could write. I didn't know he could write so well. I didn't know he was funny, because this book is really smart, sarcastic, and very dryly funny. Betty and Veronica by Adam Hughes. This book is the feel-good book of my lifetime. This is one of my favorite books ever. I'm sorry this is when I'm sorry it's such a thin book. I didn't even know he did interiors anymore, and they don't have, the detail of his covers, but it is Adam Hughes art, and he has a whole story. The whole thing's got a major story in it, and then it's the little vignettes of life that happen between it. And of course, it's Betty versus Veronica, and it is really funny. It is such good, dry humor that I think this is just a treasure. And the artwork, of course, is by my favorite artist, and he really can write very well, very well. He's one of the few artists that can continue to be a writer. There's lots of artists out there who have been given books and they shouldn't have been. He definitely should keep writing. I love Adam Hughes' writing in this book. I love the fact that he drew the entire book, so it must have been a real project he believed in and really loved. I hope he loved it so much that he wants to do book 2. But this thing is just a crack up and a great story, overarching story that you have to follow from beginning to end, because he's written a very good beginning, middle, and end that is a very satisfying overall story with a bunch of funny stuff in between. And when it comes to Betty and Veronica, this is the guy I want drawing them. He's so good with eyes, as you can see right there, which is how he, what I like about his art in general is his eyes are so realistic. It brings the character to life. And this is one of my favorites. It helps makes my top 10 expand to like now top 21. So this is one of my all-time faves, and I highly, highly recommend it to everyone. This is guaranteed to make you feel good and to make you smile and laugh and feel good about being a comic book reader. I'm telling you, this book kicks butt and is great. There's no cheesecake or anything. It's just well-drawn, funny stuff that's I loved. I had no idea the guy was such a good writer.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, here's another one I consistently love, and that's Sarah Scribbles, which you may know from the internet. A lot of her panels go viral. They look like this.
Wait, let me highlight you.
You've probably seen many of them. This is one of the collection. She has, I think, 3 out physically.
They're already making me laugh.
Oh, they're so funny. Oh yeah, they're so funny. You would like this, Jess, for sure. It is just consistently funny things about her life that she draws, and her drawings are just, I love how she draws. It's so good. But yeah, they're hilarious. If you go to her Twitter, you can find some on there, see if they're for you. And then, like I said, there are like 3 of these physical collections. But anytime I want to laugh, a good like crack up. I mean, this one also makes me like laugh out loud. It's such a joy, consistently funny. Like I said, I mean, here you can tell. Yeah, you don't have to read all this. You probably can't. But again, if you go to her Twitter, she posts them on there, and you can check them out. But
where do you order them from?
You can get them anywhere, like Target. They're very popular. But you can check out her Twitter, which I think is Sarah Anderson, at Sarah Anderson, I think, which is here under this Target sticker. But
adulthood is a myth.
Yeah, this is the first collection. There are 3 out right now, I believe. Here's her depicting holding hands. I mean, it's just so funny, and she deals with a lot of anxiety, and she talks about that. And it's all just, I mean, it's truly a joy. Her stuff is a joy. She also came out with, what was the collection called? Fangs last year, which is about a vampire and a werewolf in love. And there are a lot of like 1-page or panel comics, sometimes several panels, and it's a little like hardcover. I wish I had that near me. I don't, but it's also hilarious. So her stuff is just genuinely so funny and a joy. But I love her nonfiction stuff like this. And yeah, you would like it a lot, Jess, I think.
I just put it down as a reading goal for 2021.
Nice.
To read it.
And these, like, her sweater's fuzzy. This is just a really nice book. Like, that's fuzzy.
Oh, the
sweater itself is
textured fuzzy?
Yeah, like, I just want to touch it.
Sold. This is a sexist question, so I apologize in advance, OmniCat. Jess, are you a Betty or Veronica guy? I've always been partial to Veronica myself. In the comics, I'm a Betty guy. On Riverdale, the TV show, I'm more of a Veronica guy. So I like Betty in the comics and Veronica in the TV show. So I'm happy with both of them. And I'm happy for both of them.
I mean, Betty in the comics, you just feel for Betty more because Veronica's so vapid a lot of the time.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
But in this Betty and Veronica book, Veronica is way smart, it turns out. She's not vapid at all. So there you go. Let's see. This next book, I think, is still easily purchased. I think you can get it in hardcover and softcover. I don't know if it's in softcover, but it might be. But it's one of those books that has the cool inside part that I never see because I don't take the dust jackets off when I read.
Heathen.
And that is The Legend of Wonder Woman by Renee DeLiz and Ray Dillon. This is a book that you can easily read knowing nothing about Wonder Woman. I read this last year for the first time. So, and it was written a long time ago. I think like 1918. Not quite that long ago. 2018. Let me see when this was written. 2015 and 16. This has great art and is an extremely good origin story for Wonder Woman. It's one of the best origins and stories told afterwards. It leans heavily into the mythic side of her origin. And it doesn't tell you anything necessarily new because, you know, man comes to the island. She's got to go out into the world to help it because man's botched it up so badly. Here's Steve Trevor is found, you know, washed up on the island. But she does great stuff with Etta Candy here. Etta is just a very self-assured, powerful young woman that takes Diana Prince under her wing. This is set in the 40s for World War II. And Etta Candy has like a big band vocal group that she does. Wait, I already showed that picture. And the Nazis have employed vampires. So there's my vampires that Wonder Woman has to help take out. She has to prove, because she took out a whole unit of vampires under the guise of looking like a man. She has to prove herself by doing that to the men of the army that she's capable of leading them in battle. And she does. And they're like, what? Are we going to follow a woman? And they go, yeah, she just conquered a whole troop of vampires. So yeah, we are going to follow her. And it is a really great, not necessarily lighthearted, but it's got a light tone to it that is just fun reading for Wonder Woman. It takes some characters like Etta Candy and makes them more than just sort of stereotypes. It makes Etta her own person, and she's really good in this book. And I just there's all kinds of occult stuff that goes on in this book. I got a huge kick out of this book and really, really love it. There won't be any more of this, unfortunately. There's an issue apparently between DC and the creative team. I don't know what it is, but this is it. All you're going to get from this creative team, and you should pick it up, especially in this. Is this oversized? I can't tell. Did DC do something right? Oh, let's see. It does look oversized, yeah. But it's beautifully made, great art, and a great story that I just love. I'm in a position now where anything I read, it's either keep or give away. I either have to want to reread it or it's getting donated or sold. This is a definite keeper. I'm going to be reading it for the rest of my life. It's so fun. And my memory's so bad, it'll be like a brand new read. So
I get it. Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
I'll check that one out too.
Yeah, I think you'd really dig it. It is, I think Maddie's already read it. We had a whole show on Wonder Woman. This was, I think I brought this book to the table, so she may not have read it. But we did a whole show with Taylor on Wonder Woman, and this was what I brought to the conversation, and I tried to get her interested in it. So that might be a book you guys can read together.
Yeah, awesome.
I think
it's just a show where we're giving each other recs, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
I've written down like half of what you said, so.
That's always how our shows are.
I know, right?
I end up buying half of the books you show.
Well, and I'm going to try to get you to get this one. Because I tried last year. I don't think it happened. I'm going to try again this year with Space Dumplings.
I have it.
You bought it? Okay.
iPad. I found it because I have a maybe somebody in the audience or you can answer this. I did buy it from the Kindle. I got it on the Kindle app on my iPad, and I saw it there when I was looking through my books. So I will read that this year.
Nice.
But there's no more comic store app. I mean, there's just my books app. I can't buy books unless I like go online and go to comiXology.com or something. There's no app for buying comiXology books. I looked in the App Store. I went online. I went to comiXology. I went to Amazon. I couldn't find any way to buy comiXology books. I had to go to the email that came to me, and it got me into my account on my web browser. But anybody out there that knows anything about comiXology, let me know if I'm just inept or everything transferred from my old iPad onto this thing, like stupid apps that I don't even know why are on there, just dumb things that I should have gotten rid of long ago. And not the most important one, the comiXology app that I can buy some digital comics from. Hoopla and everything that I had stored in there transferred over, so that was good.
So you have the app, but you're saying you can't buy in it.
There were two apps. There was the comiXology storage of your books app, and then there was the comiXology store app where you bought your books.
I only ever had one app on mine.
Okay, I looked at a way to try and buy through the one app, but it all just said wish list, and it said how to read this. And so I clicked how to read this, and it says go to comiXology.com.
I'll grab my iPad later and see.
I'm in comiXology.com.
I don't buy a lot on there. I use comiXology Unlimited, so I don't know. I'll check it out, though.
Okay, wait. Chris Original Recipe says, okay, wait. They send you to the browser so they don't have to give Apple money for each sale, says Dog Stars. And Original Recipe says, Apple takes a cut of purchases from apps. That's why Amazon does not do iOS and app purchases for comiXology. They want all the money of the purchase. Hayden says, I think comiXology books have been rolled into the Kindle app since they're all owned by Amazon. Well, thank you, chat.
So maybe you can buy them through the Kindle app.
Yeah. Maybe. All right. I'm going to look at the Kindle app right now. But I'll be paying attention to you.
Yeah, well, you do that. Craig Thompson, which most people know from Blankets, which is also incredible. This is Space Dumplings. It's an all ages book. Let me take this dust jacket off because it's annoying. Can't believe you keep it on. But this is an adventure set in space. You follow this main character, this girl, and she is on a journey to, I believe, find her father. It's been a bit, yeah. And she's young and goes on this big adventure and meets all of this crazy cast of characters, and there's monsters, and there's this little chicken guy who hangs out with her, and I love this chicken guy.
Chicken guy.
The art is gorgeous, the colors are just beautiful, and it is such just a blast of a time. This book was so fun. In fact, if you're going to read it this year, we should just reread it together and talk about it.
Good.
I would love that, because I would like to read it again. But it's just a consistent joy of a time. You get to grow with this little girl and her friends, and they go to different planets and meet different like crazy creatures. This little like robot guy. I don't know. It's fun. There's all kinds of. I mean, look at this guy. Like, come on.
Chicken guy, robot guy.
Such a blast.
I want to read this.
And it really. It pulls at your heartstrings too, because that's what Craig Thompson's good at.
Oh yeah!
Look at this guy. What's happening here? It's so fun. I mean, you want to read this, right? Like, look at this. Don't you want to know what's happening? I do.
Oh yeah!
It's a consistent. It's just a feel good book. It's so fun.
Okay. Well, I have it on in my books, so
yeah, you own it.
I own it, so I'm ready to read it whenever you want.
Awesome.
That's great. Let's see. This next book is the first recommendation I ever got from Riley. So this is a couple of years ago. That he's up to like 16 recommendations, and they've all been winners. Max Bemis, frontman of the band Say Anything. I have no idea who that band is or who Max Bemis is. Yeah, makes his Marvel debut. It's the worst X-Man ever, and this is such a great book. It has got so much heart and so much feeling and so much about. It's just a perfect book about not fitting in, even at the place where people don't fit in. They call him the worst X-Man ever because he's got a power that really can't be used. I don't want to spoil it for you. It can't be used that often. But it's got, the X-Men in it, and he's feeling, very insecure and very useless, but the X-Men do their best to make him feel good, even though he's the worst, considers himself the worst X-Men ever. And the book ends up in a fantastic, great ending that is amazingly touching and heartfelt and surprising. And the art is really fun, and the writing is great. Whoever the band Say Anything is, Max Bemis really wrote a great book, and I totally dug this book and will recommend it to anybody. Even if you're not an X-Men fan, you don't have to be, because this is really about Bailey Hoskins, his story about why he's, how he feels the way he feels. It's got its light moments, Wolverine playing softball and stuff. It's just a really touching, heartfelt, beautifully written, kind of comedy. It's very funny and very well done. And have you ever heard of Say Anything?
Oh yeah.
Oh, are they like a famous band?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
I read it, also really like that. So
good.
I endorse it too.
what song would I know any songs by saying
I
anything?
couldn't name a song. I was never into them, but
Okay.
they're a famous band. Yeah.
Anybody in the chat, if you think I would know a song by Say Anything, name it and I'll listen to it on Spotify. Actually, I should see if Max Bemis has written anything else. I love that book.
Yeah, he's written some other things. I haven't read any of them, I don't think, but
okay, I'll look him up.
This wouldn't be a feel-good list for me without talking about Mutts.
Oh, what a great choice!
Ultimate feel-good, right?
Yeah,
Mutts is the best.
Awesome.
These come out in these nice treasury floppy paperbacks. They're wide, so that's how they should be read because they're newspaper strips. But they are lovely. This is about, if you don't know, a dog and a cat, Earl and Mooch, and their life adventures. They talk to crabs and various people. They beg for deli meat, and it's just consistently a joy. Again, if I want to feel good, I'm popping open some Mutts because it is so fun and lovely. I actually got into this really late because there's several of these that I just hunt for now when I go to like used bookstores. And when I own it all, because it's been around for many, many years now. So if you don't know about it, but you like newspaper strips and things like that, it very much has that humor, but it's again consistently good and like fluffy in the best way.
Oh, I like the Avengers cover there.
Oh yeah,
the
that's
Mutts
awesome.
Comic Con.
He does a lot of like cover spoofs of things that are just so good. They're so good. Yeah, it's just consistently, it's like a warm hug. It's lovely.
Yeah.
And I love Mutts so much now that like every Christmas my mom gets me something that's Mutts. So I grab these because I want to show them off.
Oh.
Here's an Earl vinyl figure that my mom got me this Christmas. And of course, Mooch and his pink sock. Come on. And these are like big. Like, let me grab my pop.
But they're so good in the box.
Come on. Yeah, I think I'll probably take him out eventually, but for right now, I haven't yet because I don't know where I'm gonna put them.
Pink sock.
Yeah, they're so good. I love the sock, and it's like a legit like he's vinyl, but that's clearly like a sock. You know what I mean? I love them.
That's awesome. Wait, can we see the cover of Mutts again? Because Crazy Jane says it looks like the Hot Rats album. That does look like the Zappa Hot Rats.
Hot Dogs, Hot Cats. I'm sure that's Yeah, he does a lot of like cover album spoofs and things like that.
Good call, Crazy Jane. I wouldn't have picked up on that, but that is one of the few Zappa albums that I remember loving to listen to back in my 20s.
Yeah, these covers are so good. This one came out 2019, so there should be another collection coming out this year for last year. I think they do them yearly. So there's a lot of these that you can pick up, and the cover price is $20. It's like nothing. And they're
like
very
nothing.
big and nice.
What are you throwing around $20 bills like they're nothing?
When you have your Amazon points, it's nothing.
Oh well, now that's true. Games Profile says, OmniDog, if your Amazon account is synchronized with your Comixology account, it is, then you can use the Amazon app to purchase digital comics and be on both accounts. I so appreciate everybody helping me with this. Thank you. And here's somebody, Jimmy Owens. This is a great book, Murder Falcon.
Yeah.
It's sad, but it's metal. It is. It's like the most metal book, but it is great. That's a good choice, Jimmy. Are you going to say, wait, let me send you a private comment to see if you're going to talk about this book. Okay. Wait, how do you do private comments? Where is that?
Private chats by the comments tab in StreamYard.
Yeah, why is it not going there? Comments?
I'll tell you, my last one is several books, so I'm probably not going to talk about whatever you're going to.
It's not a treasury of Calvin and Hobbes?
No.
Okay, that's my honorary pick because it's over there.
And you have the heavy one, right?
Yeah,
well, they're
both
heavy, but that one's really heavy.
Yeah, I would. This is an honorary pick that I'm just thinking of, but everybody knows Calvin and Hobbes. Everybody knows how great he is. That would be a great. That would be a great feel-good choice, and I would as much as I love hardcovers, the binding is not good in those hardcovers. You're better off finding a deal on the paperback Calvin and Hobbes collection if you can.
That's the one I have, and it's still so heavy.
Yeah.
But you can find it cheap, and I wouldn't want anything heavier than that because I thought that one was still really heavy.
Oh, it's like 40 pounds. It's way heavy. Like around 2016, on the Omnibus Collectors page, Target had a deal where it was like $60 for that whole collection with free shipping, and it ran through the group like wildfire. Like, we wiped out every Target in the United States. Everybody bought that because
awesome.
It was like $150 book that would have cost $30 to ship, and so everybody ended up getting it. So yeah, Calvin and Hobbes. That's just my plug there. The other book I picked, I don't know if it's still ongoing. I think it is, but I haven't read it in a while. I loved it though, and I know that young readers really love this book. Lou of Comics Guide 101 tells me, since he's a teacher, that Scholastic sells a ton of these, and that's, if adults aren't buying it, it's because young readers are, and that's Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. This is about the smartest girl in the world, like smarter than Reed Richards and Tony Stark, and she's got a devil dinosaur as a pet, and it goes through their adventures in the city, and she's got a devil dinosaur, and she's brilliant and comes up with all these kinds of inventions, I mean, and Devil Dinosaur is there to help get her out of trouble and help get her into trouble. I have about 5 of these, and if it's still ongoing, I should probably keep getting them. The first writer was Brandon Montclair and Amy Reeder, and Natasha Bustos was the artist on this first one. Great art. I mean, fabulous colors. Let me mention the colorist, who is not Dave Stewart for once. It's Tamara Bonvillain. I'd like to see Omar try and pronounce that. But it's exciting and fun and lighthearted, and there's no way you put this book down and don't feel better about comic books and life in general, because this is a complete story about a young woman standing up for herself, making herself heard, and the strength that can come from within, believing in yourself like she does. It's not enough that she's the smartest. She's got to believe in herself and be willing to bend a few rules and to make it through not the greatest conditions in the city where she lives. And it's really well written and really fun and really exciting, and I just think it's a blast. So I encourage everyone to check out Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, which is much different than its first iteration. I think probably Jack Kirby came up with it. Oh, and I lost I lost OmniCat there for a sec. She'll be back. And Jimmy Owens, are you sure Copperhead isn't coming back? Did the writers say it was all over? Because that was 4 books and then nothing. There was a lot of loose ends that needed to be tied up. That would be a real bummer if Copperhead doesn't come back, because it's awesome, really awesome. Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur is no longer being published. Okay, thanks, says Murph. I know there are enough trades out there that I don't own that I can still buy quite a few. Oh, there's private chat.
Yeah, I was gonna say I missed you. Sorry.
I'll be right back. Sorry. Private chat just showed up, but it wasn't where I was looking for it. Okay.
I downed this thing and I was like, I'm gonna burst if I stay here. So,
sorry. That's no problem.
I ran.
Oh, Kristan and I have the exact same Feel Bad book for 2020.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we want to talk about it. I talked about it last night on Omni Bros because we gave out the Omnis and it got the Golden Kirkman from me.
Nice.
As the worst book of the year. I will just mention it in passing. It's a great name for it. Feel Bad Book of the Year. I'm pretty sure Kristan and I have the exact same one. We hated it. We hated everything. If there was a message there, it was stupid. It was irresponsibly written. It was shameful. What are some other words you can think of that come to you?
I'd say it was a little horrifying.
Horrifying, yeah.
But not in a fun way. Not in a Juji Ito way, right?
Yeah.
It was like
yeah.
Horrifying in a why would anybody even show these things?
Yeah.
You know?
How did this get published type of horrifying?
Yeah.
Should never have made it past the editor.
I agree.
Yeah, Chris says yes, I've heard you rant about it a couple times. But this is the first time you've heard Kristan talk about it.
Yeah, it was a rough one.
And that is User we're talking about.
Yeah. Never again. I'm so glad we didn't buy that. Well, you did, didn't you? Never mind.
I did. Yeah, that was my. I brought root beer. I brought root beer out of retirement just to root beer that book. I swore I was never going to root beer another book, and I brought it out of retirement on that show. Because the more you and I talked about it, the angrier we got.
Yeah, it's a bad one.
Yeah. Oh, and I think this looks like a super chat. Thank you, Games Profile. What is that R in front of the dollar? Where are you from? I'm sure it's not the United States. It must be I can't even guess. Someplace that uses Brazil.
Mm.
Thank you, Games Profile. We appreciate that a lot. And let's see. Oh, this is sad news. Copperhead canceled, so we'll never get the ending. That's like a DC move. Oh, I'm really bummed. Okay, so let's see. Haven't read a bad book by Lemire yet. Yeah, we had a whole episode. We had a whole Lemire episode a month or so ago, and yeah, you do have to try Plutona if you and Teen Titans Earth 1. Unfortunately, that was not one of his stronger works. But when you have 25 other books that have come out in about 6 months that are great by him, you don't have to worry too much about those other books.
Yeah, he makes up for it.
Yeah, easily. Let's see. No, we weren't talking about Batman Damned. November 18th, Image says they canceled the final 3 issues. I'm not happy about that at all. Killer Smile. I personally didn't dig that. That's also by Lemire. But I think a lot of people did like it. So that was just a personal thing with me and being sick of the Joker.
I read that a little bit ago. I thought it was fine. I was kind of just like, oh, it's fine. I was in the middle, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, but I disliked it immensely. But that is my Joker fatigue from so tired of reading 58 years of the Joker, or however long I've been reading him.
And my difference was I don't think I'd read a Joker specific story until then.
Okay,
So
that's fair.
I still didn't think it was amazing, but I was just like, okay, that's fine.
There's Make Havoc. How you doing, buddy? And we're all talking about Lemire in there now. Sentient. Nice. I can go on forever. Yeah. Sentient was great. Royal City. I think I named that my. Didn't I name that my top Lemire book?
Yeah, and it was my number 2.
Yeah. I need to reread that again. That was really great. Oh, I need to read. I read somewhere he only did Killer Smile in exchange for DC agreeing to let him do The Question. Interesting. I want to read The Question. I have it right here. Oh, there's just not enough hours in the day.
All right, should I do my final pick?
Sure.
Which is a big cheat because it's several books.
Oh, cheater.
Well, here's how this works. Okay. When I think feel good books, I kept thinking cartoon continuations and comics, which is one of my favorite things to pick up that I don't hear enough people talk about. So I'm going to do a whole video on my channel about it. I've decided now. But 2 books I have talked about on this show, Rugrats.
Oh, yeah.
And Rocko's Modern Life. These are the 2 Boom series. They came out within the past 2 years, and they modernized the show. But it did read exactly like episodes, except they're modern. So that Rugrats had technology, and their parents were constantly on the phone, and there were drones and stuff. And Chucky thought the drone was a monster, and there were really, really fun elements to the modernization that I adored. So I thought these were great. There's 3 trades and a standalone, I think. So you can check that out if you loved Rugrats. Rocco's the same deal. They modernized Rocco. This was absolutely brilliant. I liked it even more than Rugrats, I think. And it was just so good. They had the artists, it just looks exactly like the cartoon to me. The dialogue was perfect. These are fun too. There were 2 trades and an afterlife trade, which was Rocco but zombies.
Now, having never read Rocco, could I read that book and enjoy it? I mean, I never saw the cartoon. I mean,
I would say that would be hard.
Okay.
Because I can hear every character when I read this. I think you could, and maybe it would be fun for you. I don't know. It's hard for me to know because I'm so familiar, right?
Yeah.
But I think probably more for people who are really into Rocco. But Rugrats, I know you watched, right?
Yeah, that was one my daughter dug, so we watched it all the time.
These are on Hoopla, and I highly recommend all 4 trades that you can get.
Okay.
So definitely recommend that. DuckTales, this is the Disney version of DuckTales. And there's several of these little trades, and these are really great too. So if you like the new DuckTales series, you're going to enjoy this. I love these little continuations. Adventure Time, they have these these are oversized hardcovers, the mathematical editions. I adore these. There's so many great artists and writers involved, and it's so much like episodes of the show. In fact, Reed likes them even more than the show. So some people like them even better, and it's a total blast. Again, it's one of those, if you like the show, you're going to like these. This recently came out, Scooby-Doo's Greatest Adventures by DC. This is a chonker.
Whoa.
Yeah, and they're really fun too. Actually, haven't read through all of this, but
can you tell me what that collects? Because I have Scooby Apocalypse, but I don't have that.
That's a different series. So this is actually based on the cartoons, and there's some team ups in here.
Oh, so, there's Harley and Catwoman.
Yeah, and this cover price is $15.
Look at this. That big thing. Whoa.
So cheap. So this is just a compilation. It doesn't even say on the back what it compiles, but so it's just celebrating 50 years with a random compilation. Over 400 issues of 30 classic stories. So there's 30 issues in this. I mean, look at this. Come on. It's so fun.
Geo would like that.
Yeah, I would so that's a good time. But my all-time favorite, if you like Steven Universe, Boom came out with this chonker of an all-in-one edition. It's not even everything. It says all-in-one. It's not. So this collects like the first mini-series, and then like the first half, not half, I don't know, the first several issues, few trades of the ongoing. So there's tons of ongoing after this, and there's a lot of standalone graphic novels for Steven Universe. So if you like the show, I mean, look at this art. It changes up so much because there's a lot of little stories in this. There's so many good artists involved in this and writers. I mean, look at, so then the art changes drastically to this. I mean, that's between stories though, and it's awesome. So if you like the Cartoon Network shows, there's a lot of good stuff they're doing in these comics. And this is, again, a go-to feel-good for me, especially Steven Universe, the show in general. It's such a feel-good show, but this is a beast of a book, and it's amazing. So yeah, I had to have a category for cartoon continuations and comics. I feel like people don't talk about them enough. And yeah, this is dirt cheap, so you should really check this out if you enjoy that.
Cool. I really want to read the Scooby-Doo one. I never watched Steven Universe, but I definitely grew up on Scooby-Doo. Are you, if Sally Holt says Avatar, The Last Airbender have great books too. Are you an Avatar Airbender fan?
I've seen an episode.
Oh, okay.
I intend to watch it, but I never have. So that's another thing. It's like, you're not going to care about the comics if you haven't watched the show. So
yeah.
One day I'll get there.
Psycho Seb says, perfection, OmniCat. I need them all now.
Thank you.
He actually left us a extremely nice comment. Woke up at 2:45 a.m. Now I have to stay and watch The Two Great People.
Oh, that's
Psycho
lovely.
Seb, what a great guy. Why don't you super chat us $1 million? My last book, I love this character. I don't know how this character got invented. I met the writer at AwesomeCon and just told him how great he was. Very, very quiet, unassuming guy, but I said, this story is so great. And he was very happy. He signed my pop. That's one of the few pops I still have left because he signed it. And I don't think I've heard anything people say bad things about this, but The Unbelievable Gwenpool is a great series that I absolutely adored. It's about a real life, real life, I don't know how you say it. She falls into the Marvel 616 world, and she knows everything that's going to happen because she's a comic book reader, and she can't get out of this cartoon universe. So she gets herself an outfit and has unbelievable adventures because she knows what's going to be happening. And she knows how to fight all the criminals and get out of the various traps. She makes friends with MODOK, which is really funny. And this book is laugh out loud funny. It pokes fun at everything in the Marvel universe. It doesn't take itself seriously at all. And Gwenpool's a crack up. I now that I'm looking at it again, it reminds me I need to read, I think there's 6 of them. I need to read them all again. I don't know that it'll ever get an omnibus or OHC. I generally don't upgrade, but I might in this case if this becomes a hardcover. Unbelievably fun. It is just a crack up, constantly breaking the fourth wall. That's why she's called Gwenpool. And she does battle with all these nutty guys and is I just can't say enough about Gwenpool. Christopher Hastings wrote her, and he did a great job on it. And Gurihiru, the art studio in Japan, I believe, is responsible for the art. And this is a book. This is another guaranteed book that I guarantee you will like. If you like fun stories that aren't afraid to poke fun at themselves, another one of those would be Chip Zdarsky's Howard the Duck. That was a good one too. And I think I read that last year. But one of my all-time faves, the unbelievable Gwenpool. She is so unbelievably great. She's great. Yes, I have this Marvel Legends figure. She has a cell phone. She's taking a selfie of herself and going like that. It's a great figure. You're right, Psycho Seb. Oh, here's one of the great compliments ever. Just before I forget, thank you so much for helping make 2020 a little bit less awful. I always had a good time during your live streams, especially those days when I was feeling down. Best wishes for 2021. I want to take a picture of this.
That's lovely.
That is amazing. Maybe that'll be our thumbnail.
I like it.
Thank you so much. That is, I can't tell you how much that means to both of us, Marcelo, because OmniCat has been on a lot of streams with me, so I know that that goes towards her too, and I really appreciate that. That is something that means everything to me. Thank you so much for that compliment.
I love when we get people to buy books, but more than anything, we just want people, like we said, feel good. It's feel good books time. We want you to feel good.
Yeah.
Hopefully you found some stuff today that will make you happy.
Yeah, exactly. New discoveries, that's what we're all about. Finding books that you didn't know existed and enjoy them. So we're working on 2 hours here, so it's time for me to go eat dinner.
Me too.
Okay. And here is a compliment for you.
Kristan, yeah, go ahead.
No, it's your compliment.
Kristan picks of Lumberjanes and Giant Days are awesome. Awesome. Lumberjanes, the Citrivers are Rafcoits. Oh, I've never thought about that. You should read Fangs too. You should, Jess.
Oh, that's to me? Okay.
Yeah. Is there one pick written by Craig Thompson? Didn't get the title. Yeah. Where'd I put that? It is called Space Dumplings, and it looks like this. It is awesome. I think it's put out by Scholastic Graphics. Yeah, their graphics imprint. So it's a great all ages book for anyone. And yeah, if you like Craig Thompson, I mean, everything he does is solid, and this is no exception. And it's a blast. So
I will remember to put your show in the description, but why don't you tell us about where they can find you?
Yeah, so that will be to the Comic Slayer YouTube channel. You can also find me on Instagram at the Comic Slayer, where I've set a resolution for 2021 to actually post kind of daily on Instagram. So check that out. Right now I'm going through a One Piece marathon, and the last thing I posted is my cat chewing on one of the books. So if you like cats too, they're there, hanging out. Oh, when is the video of the cat comics? Yeah, I'm going to do that soon. So check out my channel for that. If you want to subscribe, I'm sure it'll let you know. Reed and I will be filming some stuff tonight. And you can also find me tomorrow night on the Omnibus Collectors Network with my co-host Maddie. We're going to talk about hauls and reads and probably some of One Piece, because I'm doing this for the first time. So I'm experiencing it all with anyone else who's new to the game. So it'll be fun.
Has Maddie read One Piece before?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
She's like read, I think she didn't read the early stuff, but she's read the majority of it. She's been like a lifelong fan, and I'm brand new. So we have a nice dynamic there.
Good. That's good. Farhan, man, did worst X-Men ever. Nobody talks about it, but Jess did. Woo! And I got it once I watched his older videos. Great pick.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jess.
I do want to point out, it's on Comixology Unlimited last time I looked, because that's where I read it. So
you have Comixology Unlimited?
Yeah, so if you happen to have that, you can read the worst X-Men ever. Again, the last time I looked, it was on there. So
is that a good deal, Comixology Unlimited?
I think so. It's like $7 a month. I find a lot of good stuff. And especially if you like independent stuff, they put up a lot of like Fantagraphic stuff. they're getting into more Marvel. You know, with I have that and Hoopla, and I did just get Marvel Unlimited. So with all of those combined, I'm gonna save some money this year. That's the plan. So
good. That's my plan too. I wanted to read more digitally this year. Okay, and thanks, guys. A warm hug from Brazil. Awesome.
Thank you.
The pic of your cat chewing the book should be the thumbnail for your cat video. It's not a bad idea.
You're right.
And you can find me, OmniDog, on OmniDog's Vault on YouTube and OmniDogs_Vault on Instagram. And you do have to force yourself to post stuff daily.
I'm working on it.
It is hard to do because I'm trying to think what is interesting that I can tell people about on a daily basis. And sometimes it's just an action figure or a plate of cookies or something. And I'm just trying to, you know, show something that
I've decided I'm gonna really try to post pictures of everything I read.
Oh, okay, good idea.
And that's easy, right? So it's like, oh, I just read this, and because I don't do that, I'd never done that, and I'm like, I kind of want to, like, because then I can document it. I read a lot from the library, a lot of the stuff I don't own anymore, so you know, I can see what I did when and have more documentation of that.
That's a really good idea. Okay, I'll do that too.
Okay, cool.
Nice. If you don't mind that I steal your idea.
Go for it.
So thank you to the chat. You guys have been great tonight. I really appreciate all the help on our various questions. Thanks as usual to OmniCat for doing a great show. And please give the channel or the video a like. Feel free to comment and subscribe. And have a good night. Peace and love. Peace and love. And
bye all.